we are observing Maritime Awareness Week under the theme Shipping, Indispensable to the World. There are a lot of job opportunities in the maritime sector, and we tell you about some of them in our show. Plus, a reminder to make sure you submit your entry for the National Innovation Awards by September 30. Thanks for making it Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. There is more, so stay tuned.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale, and this is your GIS News for Thursday, September 29. National Security Minister Robert Montego says the security forces have stemmed the upsurge in violence in St. James. Kerry-Ann Smith has more in this report.
To date, the police have arrested the two main perpetrators of this violence, recovered 3 guns and 66 rounds of ammunition, and seized a car involved in some of the shootings. They have also detained some 98 persons, 37 of whom have been arrested and charged up to now.
Minister Montego was updating Parliament on government's move to stabilize the parish, which has been rocked by 23 murders and 13 shootings in 14 days. The National Security Minister also revealed some of the short-term plans being instituted to maintain control of the issue. In what he called Operation Quick Fix, Minister Montego said additional manpower, equipment and intelligence assets were on the ground in St. James. Curfews, cordon and search, and the installation of a CCTV network were also being utilized. The minister added that forensic pathologists and 40 search and rescue dogs were being sourced from Cuba. While disclosing further amendments to the Proceeds of Crime Act and the revitalization of the Anti-Lottery Scamming Task Force, Minister Montego urged citizens to assist the police in its drive to root out crime.
Businessmen must look into themselves when they change US dollars for scammers. Business persons must look into themselves for not paying their fair share of taxes. Developers must look into themselves when they sell houses for cash to scammers. Mothers, grandmothers, girlfriends must look into themselves when they decide to wash the bloody clothes, when they hide the guns and ammunition, and when they say that a gun-trotting youth was an angel.
Reporting for GIS News, I'm Kerry-Ann Smith.
St. James is to be divided into 2 distinct police divisions by the end of the year as the security forces clamp down on the wave of criminal activities gripping the parish. Police Commissioner Dr. Kyle Williams made the disclosure Tuesday at the private sector organization of Jamaica President's Forum in New Kingston.
What we've seen is that the scammers and the gangsters are being displaced from Montego Bay, and they are traveling out from Montego Bay into the rural communities of Anchovy, of Springmount, of Maroontown, of Cambridge. They are setting up their own gangs there, and the local youths are falling in line. And so now we need, it definitely is the time to proceed with the division of the division.
The commissioner used the function to encourage the private sector community to set up closed-circuit television CCTV cameras at their business places to join the fight against crime. Community tourism enterprises should gain more exposure and increase their customer base with Wednesday's launch of the National Community Tourism Portal. The portal forms part of government's US $15 million Rural Economic Development Initiative READY project. Permanent Secretary in the Tourism Ministry Jennifer Griffith says the portal has a booking engine which allows persons to conveniently access the services of the tourism entities on the site.
This portal is an excellent marketing tool which will help local community-based tourism enterprises to keep pace with the competition. How do we do that? by building awareness of your product and what you offer.
The Jamaica Social Investment Fund is currently engaged in a 3-year program with a tourism product development company to further develop the portal and implement business strategies for community-based tourism enterprises. To access the portal, please click on moretojamaica.com. The launch of the portal is part of the ministry's commemoration of Tourism Awareness Week, which ends on Saturday. Over 260 entrepreneurs have been trained in clean energy by the Scientific Research Council, SRC. Participants in the regional project were trained in climate change mitigation through a series of boot camps staged in partnership with the Caribbean Climate Innovation Center, CCIC. Interim project manager Marcia Henry says the overall objective is to have a pool of clean technology companies that are developing innovation for the Caribbean region.
We provide marketing services, technical advisory services, and business advisory services to these young entrepreneurs, to these persons with ideas to develop their prototype and to test the market and release their products to the market.
Organizations benefiting are involved in the areas of energy efficiency, sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, wastewater management, and resource use efficiency. To register for boot camps, persons may go to caribbeancic.org/bootcamp. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his administration will continue to expand tuition-free spaces at the early childhood level. This, he says, will be done by creating infant departments at primary schools or infant schools.
The government has made a constitutional commitment to our young kids that they will be able to access early childhood education, pre-primary education, tuition-free. This year we will be building out a number of infant schools and a number of primary schools, which were formerly all-age schools, are now converting the all-age spaces into infant department spaces. So the students who are not able to afford it should be able to find space where they can develop their early childhood skills without having to worry about fees.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking with JIS News after handing out school supplies to 4 Campus Basic School in St. Andrew. The supplies were donated by the Palmyra Foundation. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Are you undecided about which career option to choose? Let us help you decide as we visit the Caribbean Maritime Institute, CMI, and then venture out to the sea to find out about the different job opportunities.
To ensure safety at sea, the best that science can devise and that naval organization can provide must be regarded only as an aid and never as a substitute for good seamanship, self-reliance, and a sense of ultimate responsibility, which are the first requisites in a seaman and naval officer. Hello, I'm Kerry. Today we're plotting a course that takes us inside the whys and hows of some maritime jobs. That and more in this installment of Career Talk. Thanks for joining us.
It's a very vibrant market right now.
Career Talk has emphasized this reality before, but it bears repeating. The maritime industry offers up a wealth of opportunities for employment options.
I chose it because I really like it. I tried other schools before, and to be very honest, they weren't as exciting. The thrill wasn't there. So I ended up doing this.
Today we zone in on some of the more common onboard ship jobs that are available and what you need to know to get started. If you're just starting out in the maritime industry, this is the bottom rung on the ladder.
It's one of the lowest ranks on board merchant marine vessels, and they deal with mainly deck work from the deck department, and they have no sea time and are in charge of roles such as watchkeeping, keeping a gangway watch, chipping and painting the deck, and basic ship maintenance.
But there is ample opportunity to work your way up.
You can move all the way to captain if you are good enough. And as an OS, you earn anywhere between $800 US per month up to $1,500 US per month, depending on the vessel you're on and what company you're working with.
And FYI, there is no specific training or certification needed for this.
No, just basic training to go on board, like life-saving techniques as they're practicing behind me right now, and similar courses, basic first aid.
The able-bodied seaman, AB, is just a step above ordinary and isn't exactly an indication of your physical condition, although just about every job on board a ship calls for being in good shape.
He does the same thing an OS would do, except he is certified and he would have had more experience and sea time. He gets more pay, of course, so he gets anywhere between $1,500 US to $1,000 to $2,000 US per month.
The junior engineer is at the lowest level of the engineering department but performs critical tasks nonetheless.
When you finish your training at the Maritime Institute or any other institute worldwide, and then you start your navigation, you have no sea time, but you like to become an officer. You have to first work as an apprentice engineer. In this position, you typically earn, well, $1,500 to $3,000, depending on the vessel and the company you're working with.
And then there's the licensed engineer.
His job is ensuring the operation of the entire engine room of the vessel. He is the equivalent of the captain for the engine department. So he runs the engine department of the vessel. The chief officer is the right hand of the captain. So the captain has overall responsibility of the vessel. The chief officer is in charge of the deck department. The chief officer is in charge of the bosun, all the navigational officers, and everyone else that works on the deck. He gives them the daily roster of duties, yes. He's in charge of the navigation of the ship and its safety.
Now, think about a crew of men and women of whatever size working on a ship for months. What would happen if they are not fed often and well? Ship owners know that is not a scenario you want played out, which is why they hire stewards.
That is the chief cook on board the vessel. He's in charge of preparing all the meals. He would have a team at times, depending on the size of the vessel. He would normally have a mess man or maybe 2 mess men, depending on the size of that vessel. His earning potential is anywhere between $2,000 to $4,000.
Remember, whichever maritime job you do seek out, there are some constants.
It comes with a high level of discipline. It comes with commitment.
Maritime jobs are hard to find, or they can be if you don't know where to look. So we have a few tips.
There are many different ways to get a job. Just like myself, you can be walking down the beach and bump into somebody and be at the right place in the right time and get very lucky. Other people know somebody already in the industry who gives them a word-of-mouth referral. Those are both very common ways into the industry.
First, start at the port. Most ports have a management team that takes care of scheduling and other port-related tasks. These will be the first people who hear about job openings, and they might even maintain a job board. So get out of the house and get hunting. You could also use the internet. Large shipping corporations don't often advertise jobs. They may just post openings on their websites or not at all. Do a search for keywords like fishing or shipping to see what corporations are near you and check their sites. Or even try calling human resource to see if any jobs are available. A must for this industry: network. Get to know major players in the industry and the ordinary workmen who will be a fountain of information about job vacancies, and build relationships so that even if a job is not at hand now, when one comes on shore, you'll be the first one called. And finally, think about land jobs. Remember, there is a whole sector of jobs for people in the shipping industry that requires work on land instead of actually on a ship. You can consider jobs at ports, in maritime education, and more. Good luck.
So we're back where we started this maritime series as we end Career Talk for today. Thanks for being part of the journey. I'm Kerry, encouraging you to think outside the box and be creative in your career explorations.
We want a productive Jamaica. We all are productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, pathway to prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Government is serious about building the capacity of our farmers, and this is being done through strong partnerships. This move is intended to further boost the sustainability and economical viability of the agricultural sector.
Getting farmers to produce more, adopting best practice methods, and becoming more efficient and sustainable. The Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries has aligned itself with partners to grow the agriculture sector. One of those partners is the World University Service of Canada, WUSC Caribbean. They have been providing resources and technical support to small and medium-scale producers in order to boost agricultural outputs in 5 targeted crops. These are Irish and sweet potato, onion, ginger and sweet yam. The work is being done through the promotion of regional opportunities for produce through Enterprises and Linkages Propel project. The 5-year project, which started in 2013, also provides assistance to establish market linkages.
We want holistic, integrated approaches between all the different actors in the marketplace.
Propel as a support entity, helping farmers to produce and also to produce quality products, has helped us as a marketing company to be able to push marketable goods into the supermarkets, the wholesales, into the restaurant areas, into food service, in the hotel industry.
We are targeting a total of 5,000 farmers in Jamaica by the end of the project. We are very close to 3,000 and we are profiling all those farmers. By the end of March next year, we hope to have about 3,500, and by 2018 when we leave, about 5,000.
Jamaica is one of 5 Caribbean countries where the $1.9 billion project is being implemented. The others are Barbados, Dominica, Guyana, and St. Lucia. To help them care for the crops, farmers are given training in when to spray, what chemical to use, and how to protect themselves.
The day you plant your potatoes, you'll have spent 70% of all your money. And if you don't care it well for the next 12 weeks, you could lose everything.
The training has also built the capacity of farmers who are now providing the service to other farms.
We were able to provide 9 of these guys with pumps, overalls, water boots, and they're now spraying and running their own business, providing service to the other farmers.
Training was provided by the Rural Agricultural Development Authority and Level 1 certification by the Heart Trust NTA.
I love it. I feel like a professional already. You understand? So I just wanted to take each step at a time and go forward.
Through the Propel project, farmers are introduced to new technologies that will allow them to reduce production cost, become more efficient, and produce more. This includes plastic mulch, which is a weed control method, and micro-greenhouse technology applications. Manual reaping time of potato will also reduce significantly with the introduction of a harvesting machine.
From what I'm seeing, it is quite satisfactory to me, because it is my intention now to make sure I get one of these machines, because I'll be able to plant more potato and I would see a better income for myself.
Minister without portfolio in the Agriculture Ministry, J.C. Hutchinson, was in Manchester for the demonstration of the harvesting machine and acknowledged the work being carried out under the Propel project.
It's one where I think we are going to have to look to see if we can expand that, we get more equipment like that. This technology here is one where you see that it not only facilitates the cutting down on the growth of weeds, which also eliminates quite a lot of the labor. And by doing that, you are also putting more money in your pocket.
The area of research and development is also being strengthened under the Propel project. In May 2016, a Memorandum of Understanding was signed between World University Service of Canada WUSC and the Scientific Research Council SRC. That agreement will build the SRC's capacity to produce clean planting materials for Irish potato, ginger, sweet yam and sweet potato. The agency will be able to supply farmers and companies with virus-free plants and to identify and analyze natural predation for biological control of pests and diseases. There is also partnership with Bodle's Research Station for clean planting materials for ginger. By bringing the different stakeholders on board, the project is creating a sustainable output of planting materials to aid farmers in their production, which should ultimately lead to a steady distribution of produce.
We target the sector. We don't target farmers in particular. We provide stimulus, we provide catalyst to the entire sector for it to move from where it is to where it would like to be. So we don't talk about Propel without talking about SRC, without talking about Bodles, without talking about the Ministry of Agriculture, without talking about RADA.
Mr. Prasad says he is pleased with the strides Jamaica has made with the project.
I'm really very satisfied. Jamaica, for our $87 million that has been contributed so far, I think Jamaica has contributed close to 40 million of that. I mean, I don't have the exact figure, but in terms of production that has reached the high value market, Jamaica has contributed close to 40 million of that. In terms of research and development, in terms of linkages, in terms of getting all people on board to say how do we solve the issues, Jamaica is way ahead of the game.
Didn't like school and mommy used to have to wake me up. Tabla, hurry up. You're going to be late for school. Hey, now that I have a tablet, you don't need to wake me up. Since mommy and daddy bought me a tablet, I use my tablet for all kinds of cool stuff. I use my tablet to read books. I use my tablet to learn about history and science. I use my tablet to help with my homework. I even use it to talk to my daddy at work. Hello, Daddy!
Learning is easy and fun with a tablet. Take care of your tablet, use it wisely.
Now I speak life over this country, and we cancel every untimely death. No more you pick them and go turn worthless, and faith will find money for send them go UTech. I declare the greatest scrap of future leaders rising up from this generation of youth. Holy men and women, visionaries here, we speak it, and there must be a godly fruit. So for the next 50 years of our claim to fame, say make this one thing remain. When we say, Eternal Father, bless our land and guide us in the Father's name. Keep watching Jamaica Magazine.
Applications are still being accepted for the National Innovation Awards being put on by the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology. The deadline is September 30, and you must visit the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office to have the copyright seal placed on your application. Let's now look at the work of Dr. Terence Forrester. He was recognized for hypertension research, among other areas of study, at the National Innovation Awards in 2014.
He is driven by a desire to see Caribbean people live their best lives. To accomplish this, diseases have to be eradicated or contained. This is the passion of a man known as Dr. Terence Forrester, a clinical scientist with a long-standing interest in the etiology and pathogenesis of cardiovascular disease, primarily hypertension. After completing his postgraduate studies in physiology, he qualified in medicine, obtaining both a Doctor of Philosophy and a Doctor of Medicine. The foundation was firm, and he started his initial work with the Tropical Metabolic Research Unit at the University of West Indies, Jamaica. He then spearheaded the formation of the Tropical Medicine Research Institute, which merged research facilities at UWI in Jamaica and Barbados. His major research focuses on the cause of hypertension and other cardiovascular diseases. He has examined the risk and impacts of obesity, metabolic programming of early life and the constraints of fetal growth, and understanding the economic implications of chronic diseases and their interventions. Today, he is the chief scientist for the University of the West Indies Solutions for Developing Countries, SODECO, and professor of experimental medicine, Faculty of Medical Sciences, University of the West Indies.
UWI SODECO, Solutions for Developing Countries, is not a year and a half yet. And so clearly, the impact of SODECO is leveraging my experience to date as a postgraduate student, as a postdoctoral fellow, as a member of academic faculty in the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and especially my work in Tropical Metabolism Research Unit. All of that has led to a particular understanding of how to approach, how do you prevent poor people in developing countries from developing obesity, hypertension, diabetes, stroke, and heart disease once it is that the poverty has been alleviated and they become westernized.
Dedicated, hard-working and unfailing in his commitment to understanding tropical medical science, he has contributed to over 200 peer-reviewed publications. He has received several awards in recognition of his work. In 2012, he was awarded national honors, the Order of Jamaica, for services to research. In 2006, he was the recipient of the prestigious Anthony N. Sabga Caribbean Awards for Excellence, one of the region's leading recognition programs. That same year, the inaugural Caribbean laureate also earned the Beringa Ingleheim Award for Hypertension Research in Developing Countries. In 2003, he received the Vice Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Research at UWI. For Dr. Forrester, science and entrepreneurship go hand in hand, as he has been successful in mobilizing significant funding for research from both local and foreign donors. He is a medical scientist, strategic planner, administrator, fundraiser, and teacher, an outstanding exemplar of excellence in Caribbean science and technology.
Applications are still open for the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology National Innovation Awards 2016. Closing date for submission is September 30. Mail or deliver your applications to Mrs. Andrea Carr, Coordinator Innovation Awards Secretariat at the Executive Director's Office of the Scientific Research Council, P.O. Box 350, Hope Gardens, Kingston 6. All entrants should consult the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office JIPO before submitting applications, which should bear the JIPO seal. For further information, visit src.gov.jm or call 927-177-124.
That's how we close the pages of Jamaica Magazine for today. But another edition will come your way tomorrow. Until then, just connect to our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or tweet @JISNews. On behalf of the production crew, I am Theodore Henry. Well, good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.